Is internet addiction killing you? Well, you've come to the right place. First of all, relax a little bit. It's not a big deal. We'll get through it. You just have to put in a proper process to really get ahead with this. I'm going to give you guys 3 tips and really behavioral changes that are really going to lick this in the bud for you. And you'll learn to integrate properly the internet into your life. All right, let's get started. But just before we do, I'm Coach Max, and this is The Authentic Techie, the channel that helps you become your most authentic self so that you can get ahead in your work and in your personal life. The difference between a great engineer or a great doctor or a great lawyer and a mediocre one is actually not raw intelligence, although it helps. The grand difference is going to be emotional intelligence. So people get to the top, understand how to control their emotions, understand how to work with people. We have this idealized version from the movies that the top people are all sociopaths and you always have to be playing Game of Thrones, but it's not like that in the real world. If you want to get to the top of Google or Microsoft, you're going to have to be very grounded and have emotional intelligence. So if you're a techie out there, watch this channel, follow me, click and subscribe so that you can get the critical tools you need to get ahead in your career. Okay, let's get started. Number 1, recognize that you can't eliminate it entirely. And this is important because we come at it thinking, okay, I have to really go turkey. I have to get rid of everything. I have to change my life. Well, unless you're going to go live under a rock, you're not going to get rid of the internet. And if you're a techie or someone that is trying to get their career started or get ahead in their career, the social media presence, your online presence is incredibly critical. It's gone are the days where you can just hang back and just work. Now you have to be like a little, minor celebrity. You have to put yourself out there. You have to network with people. They have to know who you are so that you get those chances at the jobs and career advancements that you want. If you're not doing that, you're really giving yourself a huge handicap. So at the beginning, just recognize that the internet is here to stay. You're going to be involved with it, but we just have to find a process, a system that allows us to integrate into our life in a healthy way, rather than thinking that we just have to get rid of it entirely, because you can try that, but it's not going to work. So just a reminder of that. Okay, number 2, get rid of short form content completely. Short form content like TikTok is created, it's basically the equivalent of methamphetamines for the brain. The brain was not made to handle such types of content. It's not made to context switch every minute between one outrage, one emotion to the next. For example, I could be in outrage mode, I can go to sadness, I can go to laughter. That's not healthy because the mind needs time to process. Trauma is unprocessed emotions. So when you are exposed to something and you don't have enough time to process it, it's going to remain unprocessed in your mind and it's going to be a traumatic response in the long term. And worse is that TikTok's algorithm will recognize that you're engaging with a certain type of content that is actually traumatic and keep reinforcing it, right? So if you like, outrage caring videos, it's going to keep giving you outrage caring videos and increasing the emotion and the stimulus to create memories. So do you recognize that it kind of takes you down the rabbit hole progressively, day after day, consistently? Anything you do consistently over time will embed in this underconscious and will become part of you. So strong emotions, short window of time, flipping between things, allowing nothing to be processed, boom. That is the recipe for developing behaviors and thought patterns that aren't conducive to your happiness. Not to mention the tons of dopamine that releases. So you do get hooked on dopamine. It's not actually like an addiction like methamphetamines. Dopamine is basically how the brain rewards anything you do. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but just recognize that all those emotions in a short period of time, cycling through them is releasing a lot of dopamine and it's keeping you hooked on this behavior. It's a compulsive behavior, not addiction, but a compulsive behavior that isn't helping you. So my 2 cents is get rid of short form content. You're not going to miss it. Focus on content that is good, longer YouTube videos, documentaries, forums, and social groups that really benefit you, that teach you emotional intelligence, teach you compassion and kindness, teach you community. Those things are going to be far more beneficial than the latest funny TikTok video. Number 3, unsubscribe from any groups that aren't conducive to good health. Any group that's ideological, that's overly dogmatic, that has a lot of black and white thinking, that moves from outrage to anger to picking fun at people, or other ideologies. This includes politics, this includes religions, this includes just all kinds of stuff. Really the vast majority of online community groups. You got to get rid of those and unsubscribe from them. You want to join groups that are beneficial. For a lot of people watching this video, this will be emotional intelligence groups, therapy groups, any groups that talk about properly understanding your emotions and developing your career skills. Those are great groups to have, or around a subject. But political groups that are always enraged over something or some other, they're just going to, again, kick up that dopamine addiction, implant some negative messaging into your unconscious mind. It's things you really don't want in your life. And in order to have peace, you're going to have to remove all these groups that kind of swing you out of the peaceful realm, right? So if I'm in peace, I'm loving my family, I'm working towards my career, I'm, playing with puppies and dogs and, doing things that are warm and loving and beneficial. It's not that hard. But as soon as I move into ideology and find these really extreme groups online and start following the things day after day on your phone all the time, the notifications are pinging. I mean, do you see the programming that happens? So these groups that you will ultimately start identifying in over time, because anything we spend our time doing, we become part of. So just by exposing yourself to these groups over time, you will become like them. So another tip is just be mindful of all these leaders in this group. What kind of traits do they show? Are they good traits that I would want in myself? Because if I stay with them, that's exactly what I'll become. A lot of these people aren't healthy people. The fruits of the tree, can tell if the tree is good or not. So just be very careful of what you join. And I would say do an evaluation of everything you spend your time doing online and cull away the stuff that is detrimental to your well-being. A lot of us need to do this because a lot of us are coming from a lot of pain and a lot of unprocessed trauma, and it's hard. And we have to spend our energy fixing stuff. And this is one of the main areas you're going to have to start working on, is fixing what you're exposing your unconscious mind to, because everything there is having a tremendous impact on your well-being. So if your well-being's not good, you got some work to do. Okay, guys, this week's coaching plan of attack. Very simple. You only got 3 things to do. Uninstall short-form apps. They're no good to you. Remove yourself from any online forum chat that isn't beneficial, and you know who they are. You know what they are. So get rid of those. And number 3, sit with the uncomfortable emotions. All these internet addictions are ways to avoid ourselves. We are avoiding something that is not right within us. It's an emotion. It might be a lot of sadness, grief, despair, loneliness, boredom, guilt, shame. I mean, it just goes on and on. All those emotions are down there, and all those emotions are being suppressed and denied by you always on your phone and being enraged or following TikTok. All those behaviors that you have are symptoms of the underlying root cause, which is avoiding of the self. So when you stop doing these things, obviously you're going to have a little mini withdrawal, and you have to just sit there and take it and really start to feel what's underneath. Those emotions are valid, and you have to start processing them. And that's part of the emotional intelligence work that you have to do. Start learning about your emotions and start feeling them. All right, guys, thanks for sticking to the end. As always, I'm here for you. Check out my website, authentictechie.com, if you want to coach with me. A lot of us need a lot of support to break these addictions. I totally get it. I don't want you guys to be alone. So if you do need some support, I'm the guy to do it. So check out my website, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you.